Hi, everybody. I'm Kate Pollan, a coach, writer, and extremely curious human being, and this is Hello Void. This series is a collection of conversations at the intersection of psyche and uncertainty in 2025. I'm sitting down with coaches, entrepreneurs, therapists, healers, feelers, really anybody who wants to talk to me about what it means to be human at this point in our lives and in this world, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of this at a time when things are just increasingly chaotic, contradictory, and it feels like we are all wired for overwhelm. And so I'm talking to people about how they're making sense of their inner lives, how they're learning to live alongside emotional pain and uncertainty, and what they've noticed in the people that they work with and interact with too. Because being human is not a solo experience. It's relational, right? It's bittersweet. It's joy and grief, expansion and fear, doubt and wonder, all of this sitting side by side. And so today I am sitting down to talk with Kathleen Maxwell, with your success coach, Kathleen. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And to start off, why don't you tell us about you and why you said yes to having this conversation today?
Well, I said yes to this conversation because I'm a human and I had the whole range of human experiences. That makes me qualified to guide other people through those different places in their lives that are tricky. I've had divorces, I've had cancer, I've had children, I've graduated from college, I've done all the things, checked all the little boxes, and had all of the speed bumps as well. So I know how to get you through the speed bumps of life. And that's why I'm here to help to be your coach.
That's wonderful. So tell me, like, how has your understanding of what it means to be human changed in the past few years, emotionally, spiritually, in general?
Well, I've recently completed some training where I was able to get rid of negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, and betrayal. And when I got rid of those emotions that I had been dragging around with me forever, all of a sudden I had so much more energy and I was light and I was able to connect with people on a whole nother level. So what I've learned is that emotions are like, I don't know, having a down jacket on in summer. Sort of, if you don't process them and get rid of them, they overheat you. They wear you out. And I found that I was able to get rid of the all of this emotional baggage in a week, and I can help somebody else do the same. And you'll feel more alive and have a better experience. So that's what I say. I've discovered emotions, let them flow through. If you've got a lot clinging to you, you need to get rid of it. Just like pushing a bunch of snow off the roof so that the roof doesn't cave in on you.
Yeah, and it's not the same thing as, ignoring the snow on the roof or um trying to spray it with hot water, right? All of this when it's cold. That's not going to work with snow, and that's not going to work with emotions either.
That's right.
So, what emotional patterns and struggles do you see people wrestling with the most?
Fear is the number one problem. Um, and unfortunately, our friends in a certain red party have mastered the art of poking our fear button and poking our fear button and poking our fear button. And what it does is it just makes everybody feel like they're on high alert all the time. And that's really bad for you to always feel like something is about to happen, that you need to be on guard, that you need to worry, that you need to worry because something, oh, and you can't control it anyway. So that's the thing that I really hate is when fear runs your life. It just sucks all the joy out of everything.
What alternatives are there, in your opinion, to fear running your life?
Well, again, when you can let go of the fear and you can just see what's going on and live in the moment, taking things one step at a time, almost anybody can cope with the things that are going on in the moment and just take the next logical step, next logical step. That is the best way to not worry about fear, to keep moving forward with your life, and to just be real with people.
One of the sayings that I have heard recently from people has been kind of taking fear out of the driver's seat and putting it in the passenger seat, saying, okay, you're here and we're going to handle this. You don't get to make decisions for me.
That that's an awesome metaphor. And sometimes I even say take fear and stuff it in the trunk because if you've ever ridden with a backseat driver or a passenger who's look at that that can also be very distracting. So, fear properly managed can be a lifesaver. Being alerted to something that's truly dangerous, that's great. But too many of us are living in a house and getting the alarm signals from someplace that we lived 10, 15, 20 years ago that aren't doing us any good. So, yeah, you need to really be present with what's really happening and what really is a danger and then deal with it right now and don't hold on to it. Holding on to fear just doesn't help it at all. It doesn't age well.
No, it doesn't. I call it sometimes also like releasing the valve, letting some of it out, especially this residual emotions that we hold on to, often unconsciously as we get older, because it's what we've done to teach ourselves how to survive and how to get through. And then I'm not sure if this has been your experience, so please tell me if it's not. What I have found in working with people and everything is that they're getting a chance to kind of scrape off some of those old layers so that there's not so much weighing you down in the fear. And there may be times in the future when you feel fear again, and it won't have the same charge because you've done the work to clear out some of that residual.
Definitely. It helps to give yourself a clean slate from time to time. Imagine if you only ever took one shower in your whole life. You would feel really good right after that shower, and then gunk starts accumulating on your skin again. So,
Yes.
you it's an ongoing process being human. You have to consciously let go of the things that are worrying you and say, well, I was really worried about my house burning down when the wildfires were moving through this area, or I was really worried when that big storm, whether it was a tornado or a hurricane, I was worried when that happened, but it's not happening anymore, and I don't need to continue to be in that state of anxiety and just let it go and say, oh, I made it. Yeah, I made it.
Well, you're kind of answering this, and I'm still going to ask this question directly. How do you make space for pain and uncertainty and fear when it shows up?
Really trying to work with it in the moment uh, is the very best way. And sometimes what you need to do is journal. Journaling is another really great tool of even if you don't know exactly what's bothering you, you can start out. I used to do morning pages every morning from The Artist's Way, and you just keep the pen moving and fill up 3 pages of stuff. And after you do that, you can look back on it and you can say, oh, I was worried about forgetting to make an appointment for my dog at the vet. Oh, I was worried about making sure that I saw the dentist. Oh, I was worried about getting my bills paid. Oh, so that's what I was worried. That was the background worry. It's just like things can pulse in the background, but once you write it down and you look at it, then it's like three calls. Oh, I need to call the dentist, the vet, and I can't even, oh, and pay my bills. And then at the end of the day, you do that and you look back at your list, it's all checked off, and you can have gratitude. I accomplished what I needed to do today. So I think that's the very best thing is to just put it out on paper and look at it, and then you can manage it. Don't let it continue to churn inside your head over and over and over.
And I find that when I do that, I call it stream of consciousness writing, where
Yes,
I will start out conscious of what I'm putting on the paper, right? And the more that I focus on writing as opposed to judging what I'm writing, I get to learn things about myself as I go, like things that I didn't even realize that I was thinking or feeling or worrying about. And it's kind of magic.
it is. It is. And it comes out and then you know what's what, and then you can do something about it. And it quits being a feeling, it becomes a thought, and a thought that can be managed.
So, is there an idea or belief about emotional well-being that you used to hold but no longer do?
Um, I used to think that it took a long time to process emotions, and I've learned now that I can process them very quickly. and not just today's emotions, but if you can sort of put yourself into a trance state and just imagine that you're going back all the way to the very first time you experienced that emotion. And sometimes you can see a picture. I'm a very visual person. I see pictures all the time. So I can imagine the first time that I was afraid. I can imagine the first time that I was frustrated. I can imagine the first time I was angry. Get a picture of it. Whatever that picture is for you, it's fine. And then you can just imagine that's no longer important. You yank it out of your emotional memory. You can still have the knowledge that you gained from that experience, but you can yank it out from your emotional memory, and then all of a sudden everything that was stacked on top of it, it's like playing Jenga, if you pull out one of the bottom bars, the whole thing collapses. And now
Hmm.
now you can go forward. So that's what I've learned is that emotions build on each other, and you go back, yank out the first instance of the emotion, and then you're free. It's gone.
It's really interesting to me, especially as I do not see images in my head, generally speaking. And it is something that I have been doing a deep dive into because I think it's really fascinating, the differences in humans. Like, I know my mind is never silent. I'm constantly having words and thoughts in there. And I thought that's the way everybody was. And then I learned, oh, look at this. There's actually some people who don't have that inner monologue consciously going in words. Some people have it in images. Some people have it in words and images. Like some people have it just a knowing. And it's incredibly fascinating to me. And even with someone like as someone who doesn't see images in quite those same ways, there is still that knowing. So I may not literally see an image in my head, and I know that there is still an image there of sorts in the same way that you're talking. And so even if you don't literally see pictures, you can still do something similar, which is imagine that you're erasing the board that this is written on, or imagine that you're cleaning the slate at any point, and it can be very powerful and helpful.
I'm I'm always been interested in people like you that don't process things in images. But if I say, would you rather have a dog or a cat? Doesn't don't you have like a feeling of each animal, and don't you just know instinctively what your preference is? There's
Yes, yes,
something stored about those animals, right?
yeah, it's a knowing to me.
It's
And
annoying. Okay.
you and I have had conversations, obviously not on this podcast, but we've had conversations about how intuition can speak to us. And I found that there is also that variety in people in how their intuition speaks to them as well. Sometimes
Yeah.
words, sometimes images. It's fascinating.
Yes, it's very true. Uh, Still, if I say, okay, there is a very big animal in the room with me, you could, you probably have, maybe you have a list. Maybe, oh, is she talking about a gorilla? Is she talking about a giraffe? Is she
You have an
talking
elephant?
about an elephant? Yeah. What's in the room with her? So the, I know that you're processing it. You're just processing it differently than I am.
Yep.
And but you still have that check box. Oh, she's got an elephant in there. I just know she's going to say elephant next.
And even though I don't see images, I have this idea in my head of you being in a room with an elephant, and the elephant is taking up most of the space. And it's to me, it's a knowing. I've always
Ye-
kind of described it as like it's almost like I see negatives of images as opposed to getting images. I get like impressions of an image. There's an
Yeah,
impression
and
of an elephant.
an impression of an elephant that I need to push out so that I have room to be me in this room and not have to share it with a very large, smelly animal. So
That's right. Take up the space that you deserve to take.
that's right. That's right. And I think that's what emotions can be like too. Sometimes they can take up so much of your mental space that you don't have any bandwidth left to process the simple things that are going on, and the simple choices are hard to make because all of your mental process is going to your emotions and keeping you safe.
Mhm.
But when
Same
you
with my,
realize you're safe, you have so much more energy for everything else.
it is true. Absolutely true. What do you think people are really longing for right now?
I think they want certainty. And this is another conversation we've had before. If you don't have certainty in your life, if you're always doubting yourself, if you're not, you don't know which way to go, what to do, what to choose, it can also be very tiring. It's not as draining as fear, but uncertainty is not good. So what is the antidote for uncertainty, Kate? Tell me.
Oh, well, I do believe it is self-trust because, certainty, I personally believe certainty is something that humans are made to crave and want, and is also not something that we actually get to have in the ways that we think that we, quote, should. And what I have found the antidote to that to be is learning how to trust yourself so that no matter what happens, you're like, okay, I may not be able to predict every single outcome of what is possibly going to happen, and I know that I'm going to be on my own side no matter what.
I think that's excellent. No, I really do.
I mean,
Uh,
me too.
so uh, you can open up the door and you can see that that it's raining. So then you go back in and you get an umbrella, and then you go out and you're fine in the world. Or you see it's snowing. You go out, you go back, put your coat on, and then you're ready to go out into the world. It's not that the world has to have perfect conditions all the time. It's just that you need to prepare yourself for those conditions, whatever they might be, and then go out and interact with them.
Yeah,
And you can have a good day on a rainy day or a snowy day or a windy day.
it is true.
That wind doesn't have the weather doesn't come into it once you're prepared.
It's kind of the same with preparing your internal world so that you are better able to handle your external world.
Exactly. Yeah, it is possible to create strategies for different situations so that you can say, "Oh, wait, the kids are being loud, they're being crazy, they're running around amok." And it's possible to say, "Okay, in that situation, I say, hey, stop it. Now I want you guys to line up and let's do this right, or whatever. You can, the general can come in and command the troops. Or if you're in another situation where people are arguing or whatever, you can go in and say, hey, it's not that important. Let's take two breaths, step back, and figure out how everybody can win. Let's, it's not a zero-sum game. Everybody can win here. Let's just think about it for a minute.
Yeah, shift a perspective and be
Exactly.
open to things changing.
Exactly.
It makes me think of a story that a friend was telling me yesterday about her son who is around 5 or so. And he has a habit of making up words that don't exist. And she was talking about how it drives her husband crazy. And her response to that was, do you think that Dr. Seuss's mom was also driven crazy by having all of these like words made up? And I love that that was like her response to it because I'm someone on the side that that would bother. And I love that there are people who hear something like that and they go, oh, you know what? This could be a sign of like creativity. Like, who knows where this kid's going to be able to take this as they get older? Like, and so it changes her relationship with what is happening, what someone else is doing. And that is
Yeah.
what I think a perspective shift can also do.
Also, I that just reminded me of there was a comedian, his name was Gallagher, and he had a little girl, and she wanted to go to the dinner store. She didn't know the word for restaurant. Dad,
The
can we go
dinner
to the
store.
dinner store tonight? When you can delight in children and the ways that they find to express themselves, then being with kids is a lot of fun. If you're trying to get them to be just little mini adults, ugh, that's exhausting because they won't.
Yeah, well, same with, in my opinion, the same with when we try to put ourselves in those same squares. When we say that this is the only way that I can be, this is the identity that I have to have, when we basically pigeonhole ourselves into those things, it's exhausting and it comes at a cost.
It does. So definitely, you need to have lots of strategies and lots of ways of being in the world. And don't worry about, oh, I must be consistently beautiful or I must be consistently smart yeah, I've given all of those things up. It just doesn't work. Let me tell you guys, forget about it.
Yeah.
Don't try and be perfect all the time, but try and be present all the time, and it'll work so much better.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Well, Kathleen, tell me, you have a free gift for listeners today. You want to tell
Yeah.
me about that?
Well, for people that are on the path of seeking their true self and they want to get rid of these awful emotions, I have a 30-minute consultation. I will walk you through what your life could be like if you didn't have these emotions weighing you down. And we'll put it in the show notes.
Yep.
Yeah, free 30-minute consultation. I can learn about you, you can learn about me, and we can find a way to move you forward. No matter what your problem is, there is a solution and we can find it together.
And I know that I have had a session with you, and so I will attest to the space that you can hold to help people figure out what is right for them. And it's a it is no small thing to be able to offer that to other people. So thank you.
It's a good way to get started, that's for sure.
Well, how else can people find you if they want to learn more about what you can do for them?
My website is yoursuccesscoachkathleen.com, and I am going to be running a group called Leadership Fire starting on June 13th. It's like a 6-week program. We're taking the 4th of July weekend off, but 6 weeks of learning different skills and tactics for how to lead people more effectively. And I'm really excited about it. I'm offering it at half price to your listeners. It's
So
regularly it's regularly $500, but I'm doing it for 497. I mean, it's usually 1,000. I'm offering it for 497 to your people. There, I got it.
it's
Math.
usually 500, and so this discount is $497. You get $3 off. No, I love that. Like I mean, I am of the opinion that any kind of discount is a gift in and of itself, and a 50% one is even more generous.
So yeah, for your people, 497, and the first one starts June 13th. It's my lowest price ever for this program. It's going to go up next time, but for you guys, 497.
That's great. And the links for that, as Kathleen mentioned, all of this will definitely be included in the show notes. And Kathleen, what is one last thing that you want to leave listeners with? What thought?
The thought is, you are a pretty awesome person, and you have a lot to offer the world. Go ahead and shine. Put your best self out there every day because we need more people who are shining and being their best.
There's the ripple effect, right? Where when we are authentically ourselves and that's what we put out there, it gives permission to others to do the same. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It is. And I want to know all of you beautiful people. So shine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your perspectives with all of this. For people listening who want to connect with me or find out more about my coaching services, you can find me at followthedopamine.life. It's my website, Instagram at followthedopamine.life, or on Substack at also followthedopamine. Again, all links will be included in the show notes. And if this conversation sparks something in you and you want to explore what it means to be human with me in all of its bittersweet beauty and mess, I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, thank you, Kathleen, so much for being here and talking with me. And thank you, listeners, for being here. And to everyone, thank you for being you. Bye.
Bye.